I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about, will my ex miss me for Thanksgiving? Well, Thanksgiving is tomorrow and people all over the United States celebrate it. Obviously, we know that you'll be watching this worldwide, but holidays are coming up and it's related to holidays.
Yes.
One of the things that everybody is thinking and feeling is my ex going to miss me tomorrow? Is my ex going to reach out tomorrow? Some of you may hear from your ex on Thanksgiving. Some people will use that as an direct approach to contact you. If they've been looking for a reason, they couldn't think of one, some people will use Thanksgiving. It's probably not one of the bigger holidays that people will use, but if they've really been on the edge, that gives you a good idea. Okay, that could have been the excuse they used, right?
Right.
But if you don't hear from them, it doesn't mean that they don't think about you. How do we know? Because they were attached to you. They love you. Even if they broke up with you, it doesn't mean they don't love you. Many times your ex breaks up with you because they feel something is off, the problems aren't getting fixed, they're unhappy, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't a difficult decision.
Right.
And so they are going to be in a place that's going to be tough because they'll probably be at their family's house. Maybe you were there last year. Maybe they were with you last year. They're going to be thinking about last year.
Absolutely.
Talk about that, Margaret.
Absolutely. And, well, every loss you've ever had comes up on holidays. I used to hear it from my functional and dysfunctional families that holidays were very, very difficult because you think of all of your loved ones, whether they were your family of origin or other people that you may have loved in this world. The difficulty is the older you get, the longer the list gets and the longer it takes to think of them. But yes, they will think of you on Thanksgiving. And just think of all the pictures of the happy families that you see on TV. And my dysfunctional family people used to always tell me they'd look at that and dream that someday they could have families that looked like that all sat down at the table together and were able to be civil to each other. I used to help some of them plan it so they could do that. But on Thanksgiving, and if you just listen to the narrators we'll hear, it'll be how you're having dinner with your family and other people that you love.
That's right.
And of course they'll think about you tomorrow.
And don't think that a family member may say, hey, where's so-and-so?
Yeah, whatever happened to Josh? Yeah.
Ooh,
he was here last year. Yeah.
And that'll make them think about you.
Yeah.
Where were you last year? What happened? Or, all of those things come up.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance that your ex is around family members that are annoying them and driving them crazy.
Yes, that's a pretty good chance. Yeah.
And so I thought maybe you could talk about how being in that environment with people that frustrate you might long for the partner that kept them safe.
Oh, sure. If you come from, no family is perfect, but, there are degrees. But if you come from a family that doesn't do holidays, and I know, I've known several, or if, somebody cooks a turkey and then everybody takes a plate and nobody sits down together. But if you've never had the Thanksgiving of TV where everyone sits down and says that shopping at Publix is a pleasure, then you're going to be unhappy and have a sense of loss.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And holidays make you think of deceased family members, people you no longer see. Every loss on earth can come back. And we don't want you to get depressed on the holidays, so be prepared for that to happen. It's okay. It's normal.
Yeah.
All right? But yes, it's a difficult time for anybody who's grieving. And if you have a recent breakup, then you're still grieving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Even the people that aren't there are there.
Yes, in ghostly form.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of like, there's a whole lot of people who you'll think of there. If you think of them all as ghosts, they'd probably fill your house.
Yep.
Right.
So you got to understand, your ex is going to be in a situation with family members that have all their partners there. You're not there.
Right.
That is a big feeling of loss.
It can be a difficult day. It can be a very difficult day. Yeah. And you're right, there's always some relative who's going to say, what happened to Josh? And when are you getting married?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, those things come out. They're going to affect them. They're going to think about you. They're going to think about last year. They're going to remember those things. And it's hard for them as well. And I understand every one of you out there is going to desperately going to wait for that phone to go off and that you'll hear from them. And it's going to be hard not to think about that.
Yeah, don't pin your day on it, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, don't consider the day a disaster if that doesn't happen.
Yes.
Because life has to go on.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, going through a day like that will stick with them for a while.
Yes, it will.
And they'll think about that for a while. And, you know, that will make them miss you when they're sitting there thinking about Thanksgiving was tough. This was not a good day for me.
Right.
I really missed this person a lot more than I thought that I would.
I had a good time last year, and this is not good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or a family argument breaks out.
Oh, that never happens.
Margaret, you had a funny story about that?
Oh, I have several. Unfortunately, I have one about the family. This was a very dysfunctional family, and they all somehow got into fighting over the turkey, and the police were called. But only the men went to jail, and they were very annoyed about that.
Did they get to eat first?
No.
That's probably why they were
so
annoyed.
Yeah, they didn't get to have their place first. I had one family where it was mother and son and a few other relatives, and the son somehow was unhappy and threw the ham on the floor. That wasn't good either.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you the best of all was the family who was really very dysfunctional but looked quite good from the outside.
Uh-huh.
And one of the older boys brought 2 prostitutes home for Thanksgiving dinner because he didn't think they'd had any family experiences at all.
I thought they were dessert.
Yeah. And they ended up in a fight with the entire neighborhood on a little patch of grass that was between 2 sides of the street. That's my favorite.
Wow.
Yeah. So for families in trouble, for people who feel like they've been deprived, it can be a very difficult day.
Yeah.
I remember working with kids in foster care, and they could almost not stand it, that they'd see these happy families on the TV, and they had never had that.
That's right.
So do the best you can to enjoy it, and be grateful for the blessings that you do have, even if you can only count 1 or 2.
And that's a great point. Yeah. I did a video either last year or the year before that was called Taking Thanks.
Yeah.
You might want to review that, where it's talking about being thankful for a breakup. And it's a very difficult thing to think and reframe your mind, but if you really do think about it, this breakup probably has changed you in a lot of ways.
All right.
And a lot of ways for the better.
And we see people grow around breakups, whether they reunite or not. We see you work on yourselves and definitely make growth.
Absolutely. I talked to a guy today who blew me away with the personal growth that he's had in probably a month or 2. I asked him to do a success story just on the personal growth alone. It's been incredible.
Oh, wow.
He had the notes scattered all over the table. He had the workbooks, and they were all printed out, and he's showing me all these workbooks and all these notes, and it's just incredible. And it was just amazing to see. And he's like, you don't even know the impact you've had on my life over these past 2 months.
Yes.
He had PTSD. He had gone through a lot, and the relationship that he had was just very toxic and unhealthy, and he's like a new guy.
Oh, wow. Oh, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah. And so if you reframe it and look at who you are and who you're becoming because of the breakup, and the changes that you're going to make long term, it's going to impact your life for the better. I really believe that.
I believe that too. But I'm thinking, if you're sitting at the table just feeling terrible, Look around at the other people sitting at the table and wonder to yourself what it's like for them. Get out of yourself just a little bit and see if that helps.
That's a good way to, I think, to kind of just take yourself out of maybe the difficult feeling you're experiencing.
And kind of think about how you think these other folks are doing.
Be glad you're not the turkey.
Oh yes, that's one thing to be grateful for. Be glad you're not the turkey. Yes, there you go. There's one big thing.
Although you probably feel worse than the turkey.
Yeah, right. Well, like you are the turkey.
Yeah, exactly. But know that your absence is going to be felt.
Yes.
Okay? It's a big day, and not having you there, that absence is going to be felt in the dynamics of the family,
right,
in the interactions that they had, in the way the family members used to interact, and you used to interact with your family with you there. I mean, all of those things come up.
Right.
They're in our unconscious.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
And so you will be too. And even if you don't hear from them, doesn't mean that they're not thinking of you.
No, it doesn't.
So just know that on big days like that, your ex is often thinking about you and missing you and just as confused and probably frustrated as not knowing what to do. Maybe they feel like they can't reach out, they can't talk to you, but it doesn't mean that they're not thinking about you.
No, it doesn't at all.
So hopefully this will help you feel a little bit better, and hopefully you'll have a good day tomorrow and try and enjoy yourself. If anything, try and think about how you can be thankful for all the growth that you've had because of what you're going through. And I like to say, weak winds don't make for strong trees. And for me, I don't know if you've ever heard me say that.
No, that took me a minute. It's obscure enough to be an Irishism, but I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
Weak winds don't make for strong trees. Okay.
And
so we grow through wind.
That's right.
We grow when we're challenged.
That's right. We grow the deep roots because we're prepared for the storm. If you are a tree and you're in an environment where it's easy breezy, you're not going to have those strong roots that help you prepared for the difficult times.
Okay.
And I heard that, I think, when I first got into stand-up comedy, because you have so many bad sets where you're constantly bombing for really a solid 2 years before you get any good at comedy at a consistent level. You'll have to do hundreds and hundreds of times before you do well. I mean, and solidly well. Mm-hmm. You'll have some nights that are good, some that are bad, but to consistently be strong, it takes a lot of adversity.
That's a lot of wind.
It really is. And so when I heard that, that always stood with me, and it made me appreciate the tough times. And reframing this breakup into something positive can be really helpful for you.
Okay.
So hopefully you feel a little bit better. And of course, when you want to get my help personally, just go to my website, askcraig.net. Sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Margaret is also available for Skype coaching.
Yes, and I can get you in pretty quickly these days.
So just click on Margaret to sign up with her. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And we will talk with you soon.